Oh, hi. Today we are celebrating the massive size of this W. I beat the Russian government in a copyright claim. But that's for like a topic of the main channel. I haven't been streaming too much because Quebec 3 is being produced. Like as we speak. The very few things missing are in regards to the video itself, putting the video together. But as far as all the content, all the content is concerned, now the only things that we're doing is just putting them into the editor and making sure the editor eats them. So, yeah. Russia now has the second strongest army on your channel. Yeah, goddamn. It's kind of sad what I. Yeah. Also, hi, hi. Welcome, Hermit. Welcome, Kamil. We're playing Sekiro. I'm very excited to continue this game. Tomorrow we might or might not move on with a different game, which I'm excited about. But there are some issues about the availability of the players for the collab, and that happens. So yeah, I'm mostly concerned about that. But for the time being, we can assume that there's going to be a stream today, tomorrow, and also the day after tomorrow. If you guys remember, wait a second, yeah. If you guys remember Maka and Aya, with whom I used to stream Apex sometimes, and I would ping you about it. Like, Aya and I are going to be streaming Apex on Sunday. At least we said we would. We're gonna have to see what we do there, but yeah, it's going to be a busy weekend as far as streams go. The art on the thumbnail is insane. Thank you. It's I tried to make something hard. Um, when I started doing the thumbnails for this series, I started looking at an art style in Japan, which is basically a type of inking, and you are meant to use like a very specific type of paper, which I try to simulate in the yeah, in the background stuff, and then you have to use ink on top of it, but you can only use like black ink. So thumbnail one was very like rudimentary in that sense. Thumbnail 2, I started to get like more confident with angles and that sort of stuff. Thumbnail 3, I think with this one I'm kind of getting, the grasp of what I can make with the art style. But I wouldn't say I'm fully confident on it yet because to simulate ink painting on digital, that's like incredibly hard. I don't think I'm like fully skilled to create illustrations that actually resemble, the things that I'm trying to create. But that's fine. Long term, I think this is a good skill to have. This is a good thing to learn about. I'm happy I have the opportunity to do that. So yeah, can you send me some of the images you looked at? That art style looks amazing. Yeah, sure. I can post that later in the Discord. Okay. I'm just gonna put the game now. I was setting up a little screen I used to read the chat while we were talking. Oh, I'm very excited to play this game. Uh, just so you guys know, um, I am planning to continue pretty much every game I'm playing. It's just that I'm trying to focus on Quebec, right? I have been paying a lot of attention to this channel compared to the main channel. And the main channel is the one that brings in the big bucks, so I have to be a bit sensitive with that kind of stuff, at least for now. So yeah, mm, yeah, that's why we haven't been streaming as much this summer as I could have. I think I'm more comfortable streaming than like any time in before in the past. But it's definitely a skill I learned, and I'm thankful for learning. But the other channel needs to become a bigger priority, I guess. So yeah, it's not that it's not a priority. It's more that the way I thought about it since the beginning, right, is that streams are a lot faster to produce than whatever I can make on a video essay, right? I have to read for a video essay. I have to do a lot of things for a video essay, and oh, oh, okay. Okay, so you see me here. I'm gonna come closer, but just for a second. Wait, I'm not trying to like take over your screens, guys. This is just me trying to get something done first. Uh, how many of you have watched like the Barbenheimer? Do you know what the Barbenheimer is? The Barbenheimer is basically when you watch Barbie and then Oppenheimer at the same time. Yeah, okay, is this good? I think it's good. You see, this way, no matter how much I uh, go forward or backward on the screen, you will see me and I won't crop, my head won't crop at the top, which I think it's a good thing. Mhm. Yeah, I will probably have to be doing this every stream from now on whenever I switch tabs, simply because of the fact that it allows for this like greater resolution, and I don't really like the cropping. So yeah, whenever I stream, you will have to see me adjust myself this way from now on. So yeah, I actually might stream Civ 6 in VC in the Discord either tomorrow or Sunday, since I finished my class. Okay, thanks for streaming. Thanks for sharing that with the Discord. Alright, so Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, uh, deep game, about deep stuff. I am going to show you guys a bunch of things that I learned. You know, I started doing something. I hope you can forgive me. Wait, what? I saw the screen like jitter. I'm not sure if it was a movement thing or something. I feel like the game is like incredibly quiet. Okay. I need to remember the keys, but once I do, I have like a lot of things to show you. Hello, how's everyone? We're chilling. We're chilling. Okay, so here's a couple of things I learned about Sekiro. There's this thing where the way you actually counter an enemy is by waiting for them to hit you, and then when they hit you, you press the counter button. So check this out. I'm gonna let him hit me, and that's how I counter. I mastered that skill. I think I can now. You just have to be very, very good at anticipating, right? Like the moment they actually attack you. Yeah, like that. That. Yeah, yeah. I have never tried to counter a dog actually. Maybe it's possible, but I'm not sure. Anyway, you also can level up in the game. You see that little bar on the upper right corner? That's actually like a leveling up bar. It lets you Oh, you can actually counter the dog. I just did. Now would you look at that? Yeah, so what happens is that you can counter, and counters are actually quite good. If you execute an enemy like that, yeah, it's good for you. Points. Oh, you're running out of points, Kame. I think I made a mistake whenever I set up the point system, because I think You're here basically every stream, but your points are not recharging like fast enough for you to um spam a bunch of interactions, right? Which you should be able to do. Oh the god. Yeah, that's how you're supposed to do it. You gotta time it like super right. Ah! Okay. I'm gonna come back. Shadows die twice. Oh, that's what it means. That's what it means. It's because of the because of the resurrection. All right. These guys just reminded me of something like incredibly important. I'm gonna show you in a second. You see this money, this like floating money that I was like kind of looking at, but never did anything with. You can actually pick it up if you hold X. You can pick up money, and you can buy things, which is insane. I have been getting through this whole game without buying anything, and kind of what I want to do right now is to buy stuff. I want to make the playing experience a little like more like what you're supposed to do, and go through a couple of purchases. Where the first thing we're doing this stream is we're gonna go shopping. So yeah, nice. This month I have not been available to see most of your streams because I was doing schoolwork. Yeah, that's understandable. I scare you every stream. You fell to consumerism. I didn't fall to consumerism. Like the game has a market aspect, and markets are social technologies that if you can use, then you better because you will always be disadvantaged in a society where there's a market and you don't use it. It's kind of dumb. It's kind of like handicapping yourself. Why would you, you know, forego the social technologies that you can use? Oh, 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 oh. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Well, that was interesting. I didn't expect to fight that person right now. Unless it's for books. I mean, I think you people should understand that you can't really impress me with social democratic politics. Huh. Okay. We can probably cure the dragon rod, which would be a good thing to cure. Oh yeah. I also discovered I have like these special items, I guess. Let's speak of the money. We got like 44 coins out of that. You know how much 44 coins is? It's not a lot actually. Oh shit, that was very good of you. Okay, couldn't do it. I guess we'll kill the chicken and then we'll use the safe spot. Like we've been here before. If you guys don't recognize this part of the map, we've actually been here before. Stonks. Yeah, like stop saying social democratic shit. You're like, oh yeah, capitalism bad. Like I know that. Who do you think you're trying to impress? It's like yeah. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys something else that's really cool. Um, there's somewhere I want to go, but I don't exactly remember where it was. It's like Castle Gate. Um, I actually do not remember. I'm trying to find one of the stores. There are a couple of stores, and I want to go on a shopping spree. We're going to be picking up like all the items we can get from the stores, basically. That's my objective. Oh no, it's closed. Oh, they closed it altogether. You can no longer access this like little box of an area. Huh. So it rat hit more controversial opinion. What? Eh, there we go. I'm looking for a store. Where are the stores? Huh. Okay, I'm guessing. I'm just gonna take their money. Why not? Yeah, like if you want to like, impress me, which I don't know why you would want to impress me, but if you want to, don't say like, oh, did you know that like Margaret Thatcher is bad? Like, oh, really? Okay, so this guy is actually really, really strong. I want to see if I can counter him though. Oh, okay. Tactical retreat. We're going to be. Ha, ha, ha. Mm, there we go. South Korea still better than North. I think that's fine, actually. I don't disagree with that. Like, something I think more people should recognize was that Marx was not necessarily like an anti capitalist. He was very much of the idea that capitalism was good. Like, it was better than everything that had come before it. But it had, like, unleashed a level of productivity that most people were not participating in. So you had like a bunch of wealth, but the wealth was not being used by society per se. It was being used by, hoarded. Capitalism is very good at generating like wealth, but not exactly as good when it comes to solving questions of distribution. Yes, yes. So that's what Marx really cared about. How do you solve the distribution problem? Because he was very pro capital in a sense. He was of the idea that let me pick up their money. Yeah, yeah. He was of the idea that yeah, no, it's good that there's money. It's good that there's factories, But if you believe that the freedom of one person is a prerequisite to the freedom of all people, there's a big problem with capitalism, right? In the sense that it allows some people to be freer simply because of the fact they have access to like money and things like that. So your life could be dramatically better or dramatically worse because of a factor that may not be wholly uh, down to the merits of like your character or your abilities as a human being, right? That's what Marx was really concerned about. Um, you can understand Marx if not as uh, an economist, because his economics are kind of like a dead subject right now. You can understand him as a theoretician of freedom, and as a theoretician of freedom, like that's largely his argument, right? um, Capitalism is not a system where the freedom of one person is a prerequisite to the freedom of all people, and he saw that as like a bad thing. um, yeah, he didn't like that very much. I had some controversial ones, but I'm masking them. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, they're the early settlements. I think that was actually a smart initiative. What? In the case of the state of Israel, you're taking about a nation with barely a what? Are you discussing Israel on a video game stream? Yo, where did that guy go? Where did the samurai go? Like, I killed his friends, but did he like drop off a cliff or something? Divine grass. Huh. Yo, like dead ass, where did he go? Did I just like lag him out of existence or what happened? Kibbutz. Oh, you're talking about like the Israeli farming cooperatives. They're okay, I guess. They were like an interesting idea. Oh, there he is. I am gonna take him down. No! I was meant to backstab him, not like. Ah, fuck. What? No! I hate that. I hate when they do that. Ah, fuck. Oh, shit, no! I didn't. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna come back, but I'm not going to fight him. Or should I? Should I be like an ambitious piece of shit and like actually try to kill the guy? No, no, not worth it. I'm gonna try again, but like not here. uh If it had been an animated better, the kibbutz would have been smart. I don't know enough to comment, honestly. Like, there are always problems with farmers' cooperatives, I guess. I forgot he has like simps that are shooting at me. I should take them out first. Ooh. Huh? Are there any more of you over here? No, that's just five. Okay, I think I can do that. I can deal with this guy. Why not? Oh, okay. Ooh. He's being a bit of a difficult guy, but yeah, I'm better than I was when I last fought him. Ooh, hoo, 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 hoo. Okay, okay, man. Huh. Oof. Nope, you're not doing that. Ah. Okay, fuck. I got really greedy with. Am I gonna lose my money? How much money am I gonna lose? Because if I'm going to lose my money, I'm going to be very sad. I'd rather just uh go to the store instead. Yeah, fuck, I lost so much money from that. No. I'm gonna go back to find like a store again. Fuck this guy. I'm going to come back stronger and then he'll know who's like on top of shit. Hmm. The only what is unique about Mexican literature? What is unique about Mexican literature? Actually, I don't know. For me, it's like very familiar. I don't know. Like if you were asking me, what makes it like different? Uh, that's kind of a complicated thing to answer because for me, that's what's familiar. The Mexican literature overall, I guess the topics it boards, the fact that it's very concerned with like the rural. Uh, oh no! Okay, I'm coming back to life. Wake me up inside. This is so bad. I hate the archers. I'm gonna have to do something about them. Mexican literature. I don't know. Latin American literature has usually been discussed as like a system. It's like a bunch of related forms of writing. Um, to the degree that's true, I guess it's really hard to talk about, one Mexican literature. What's unique about German literature, for example? I don't think you can answer that question. There's a lot of diversity among like German writers. Um yeah, it's like there's a very big diversity of experiences. Not every Mexican, for example, belongs to the bourgeoisie that was able to write a lot of like the big tomes. So in that sense, it's a bit complicated. You don't really have ooh, I'm just trying to harvest them for money right now. Experience I can make do without the experience. Without the money, I'm not so sure. So that question is actually open. I'm kind of curious to know myself. I mean, yeah, I just read. If you're curious about like Mexican authors, just like read Mexican authors. So it doesn't have to be more complicated than that. Okay, so this is the first store I'm actually really concerned with. This guy, he runs a shop, and he has a seed, and this seed is really important because it allows us to have like more potions. Um, I'm gonna have to get this one, but let me see. Oh, I can actually sell him stuff. Maybe if I can sell him something. Oh, right, I have so many of these. Okay, that means I can buy one of his seeds. Mm, firecrackers, ash, the blood droplet. Okay, that's good. I'm gonna have to get like two of these to purchase this one. And now I got pretty much everything of value he has to offer, I think. Uh the Feastfuls of Ash are a bit particular. I don't think they're super my style. My knowledge level has really had not increased over the past few months because I have been working on school. I mean, isn't school like a knowledge a knowledge accumulation enterprise? Shouldn't you be going to school for like that exactly? School, the biggest obstacle to learning. Yeah, I mean, I guess that standardized education can be a bit annoying to get through. I was stuck talking required classes, so yeah, pretty useless semester. No. All right. Give me your money. I am in desperate need. I think that's such a weird mechanic though. Like why does the game like I don't see a scenario where you wouldn't want to pick up money, right? But the game is actually giving you the choice of like do you want money or not? Are you trying to play like a monk, accidental kind of sage speedrun? Like, no money because you're doing the Buddhist let's play or something. Yeah. The Eco Iki monk. No money, no nothing. Pure Buddhist values. Buddhist values let's play. Ooh. Okay, okay. No! He cornered me! Ah! Bro, how was I supposed to walk back from that? Uh, in Elden Ring, I wouldn't have this problem. Why won't you die? Oh my god. I was just there, like, hitting him like crazy because he couldn't die. That's so garbage. Okay. All right. Mm, yeah, the thing is, I don't really see a situation in which I wouldn't want to pick up money that enemies already dropped. Like, that sounds kind of crazy to me. Elden Ring, for example, has like an automatic pickup feature. Pretty much every game that I know has like an ordinary pickup feature. Pokemon has an ordinary pickup feature. If it's just kind of common sense, I guess, that if money is an important part of your game, then you're going to want players to be able to like take it, right? You're going to be, uh, Pokemon, for example. If you defeat a trainer when you're playing through the game doesn't ask you like, oh, do you want to be a good Samaritan and tell like this poor trainer you've just defeated that, no, I don't want your money, bro. Keep your money, bro. No, they just give you the money, even though you can like lose it, like the way you saw me lose money when when the general killed me. The same way that happens, right? Pokemon won't tell, it won't stop to ask you, I guess, whether money is something that you want. It just kind of assumed that it's always going to be useful, so it shoves it. It doesn't give you the option not to take that, and I guess a lot of games have gotten me used to that feature. Like even Elden Ring, for example, whenever you kill an enemy's souls, or I guess in the case of Elden Ring, runes, right? There's something you just pick up. Like you don't just like wait for it. I took literature basic, as which is already knowing most of biology. Okay. Do they drop something besides money? Yes, actually, they drop items. Like they drop things that can be very useful in the game, like healing items and rocks that you can throw at people, and all that kind of stuff, right? Like they give you things that are useful and that in any other circumstance, right, you would want to pick up, unless you were trying to play the game in some sort of scarcity mode. Because if you do pick up the things that they ask you to, yeah, If you don't pick up the things that they are trying to get you to pick up, then you complicate your life in like several levels, right? So that's kind of what I'm thinking about. You would want your players to be able to take these things home. You know, they're important items that allow for like technical, technical gameplay, I guess. And if you don't make that feature automatic, you kind of create a sort of, at least with the game that Souls games work, right? You create this open incentive where you know the game that you could get through the game or through like significant portions of the game without important features of yeah, like tactical and um resource economization, I guess. Like if you want your players to know that items are something that they should be like really smart with and something that they should incorporate in the way that they play. The way I would design a game like that is that, the items should be something that's easily accessible and that you as a player can keep like using and reusing and revisiting and reacquiring, right? Like the money, the if there's going to be a markets all over the place, you would want players to have access to the money. If you want players to be able to use like tactical weapons, right, like that kind of thing, it would be really important if players were able to learn that items are something that they can use and rely on rather than these like super scarce resource that they have to be really tactical with. I guess that's an important thing, and that's like a design choice you can make, right? But if you are going to do something like that, then you are kind of in a position where you need to decide whether you want the things that are in your game to be items of scarce kind of very tactical use, or items that are actually part of the gameplay in some more recurrent fashion. Because if you are using like items, like in the classical Pokemon games, right, the tms the TMs were something that you could only use once. So if you wanted to use a TM on any of your Pokemon, that was actually like a very big decision. It was a very big commitment to say, okay, this Pokemon is going to learn this skill kind of to the exclusion of all the other Pokemon I have and I could have. So that's like a big economic commitment. And if you want items to be like that, I mean, I guess that's a choice you can make. But if you want players to, be like tactical and creative, right? You kind of need to surrender or find a way to make them separate from that philosophy of scarcity. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Oh, lizards. Oh, they poison you. Okay. Um. Oh no, I'm poisoned. Uh. Am I just going to slowly die now? This is so sad. I need to find like a resting place. No, I did not wish for this. I do not want this. Um, okay, do I have antidote? There we go. Okay, we're back here. What genre of music do you play? I was educated by a jazzist. Like the person who taught me how to play music is like a jazz player who sadly died, and I was one of his students. I have like a couple of other, people in this like sort of little group of his pupils, I guess, and pretty much all of them have gone on to become some form of musician, except the ones that well kind of didn't care for it, I guess. Um, Everyone's pretty much involved in some art form or another, and the guys that are like most prolific, I think, they're really good. Like one person I know is like in New York right now, doing music. He didn't go to college and he's living off his music, and he's doing like super well. Uh, he thinks Kanye is kind of shit, and when you're a jazzist and just educated in the arts, I guess, uh, you can kind of look at a lot of pop music and you're like, yeah, no, this is like not really my stuff. Uh, it's like up a completely different alley of the art I was trying to like appreciate. And I like being a jazzist because I think it's made me appreciate uh, a lot of music that I guess most people just never have a chance to have an encounter with. Because jazz is really technical, but it's also really like dumb in the way it's played. Yeah. Okay, it's actually in the castle. I have to go to the castle. Also, any Mexican authors you recommend? I mean, I guess that's a very difficult question. Like, what are you trying to read? What are you trying to get? Like, if you want like classical authors, classical Mexican literature, there's Juan Rulfo. There's like Gabriel Garcia Marquez. There's like a bunch of people that you could learn about without me telling you. Like you could Google these names because they're not only like Mexican authors, they're classical authors, right? They're studied in like literature schools. So yeah, I mean, you don't need me to tell you. If you think authors that I like, that I personally enjoy, that's a different question. Mm, like it all depends, right? Be specific. Oh, hey, I know this guy. Okay, here's what I'm looking for. With this, I'm getting rid of them, and now I find this other guy who sells. This is another store. He sells a prayer bead, and that's like incredibly important. Okay, I'm going to buy like a bunch of his stuff, so I don't mind like spending big here. Hmm. All of these items are like really good. Now I come here and I can become stronger, uh, acquire skills. Oh yeah, this is another feature I learned about. Um, if you level up this little bar, you can actually get skills, and some of them are really nice. A lot of them are allow you to have like more stats and things like that, which is also Really good. Uh, I've used my favorite genre is either okay. No, I don't want to acquire skills. I want to enhance my physical attributes. Yeah, yeah. Now I'm stronger. Uh, with all this strength, what should I do? These things remind me of Elden Ring enemies. They're very similar in like presentation and what have you. I'm glad I got to this area because this area is like a lot better than. Well, it's not better, but it's new, right? We were kind of stuck walking circles around the place, and now we're somewhere else. Though it's incredibly creepy, and the enemies here are very disgusting. Oh, yeah, that thing he dropped, this bag I picked up, that's an item. It's interesting that these guys are like weak to fire, I guess, because they're zombies of sorts. Yes, I am a shinobi. Required want of man. Huh. Okay, I think they're trying to like use my body for some fucked up ritual because it's very strange to me that the requirements are like, you know, person, not so much like anything else. Hello, hello, Meteor Ball. Welcome. I forgot about the stream today. Yeah, no worries. I'm not sure how long I'm going to stream for because the people in the yeah the people in the yeah the people who I'm going to be streaming with tomorrow. We're trying to sort out some like admin stuff um first. So in order to get that done, I think I'm gonna have to. Yeah, in order to like stream in time, I am going to be. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to leave earlier so that I can like go with them and we can start talking like schedules. Um, but yeah, I mean it should be one of the objectives to for me to sort that kind of stuff out. Hello, hello, yay! I'm very happy I found a new area. I was getting kind of sick of those palaces. I guess at some point I'm gonna have to return to like the samurai I've not been able to defeat. But that point is not right now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What's up with that? Huh. Okay. I mean, I rested already, but I think. Oh, right. There's something important we have to do first. We need to go to the lady. Do you like The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? That book is really cool, I think. I would consider it like not really foundational to me. Okay. Yeah, I think it's a good story. I don't think the original is like super good. I mean, how do I phrase this right? Okay, it's not that I don't think the original is like particularly good. It's more that oh, I hadn't equipped the upgrades. Yeah, it's more that the ideas that are presented by the original are so good that they kind of transcend the limits of what the author tried to create. I think they're a very good book. I'm heading off to sleep. Bye bye. Okay, I decided to continue. What's up with you, sir? Oh, I guess I had this item. Lure to abandoned dungeon. Why would I lure him? I don't think I want to lure someone somewhere. That sounds like a deceptive and kind of bad thing to do. I am trying to help this person, not like take advantage of them. Oh, hi. A monk. You weren't enough. Yeah, take that. How's that for an enlightenment? Ooh, that's good. Okay. I see you're a bit stronger than I thought. You're not going to out-rhythm me, though. You're playing with fire. uh, oh, there's so many of them. I think I'm just gonna run past them. Like, fuck that. Yeah, thank you for the sub. Thank you for the subs. Bye. Oh god, I hate these bugs. Let's just. Yeah, I don't want these things to like come back and bite me in case like any funny stuff happens later. Uh, no. Why are there so many of them? Uh, okay, oh, there's a window. Hello. Ah! Okay. Thank you for that. I was having a conversation. You guys ruined it. You guys suck. I should probably read the originals. What are you guys talking about? Literature? Yeah, I see. Moby Dick. Oh, that's nice. Hmm. Well, oh, that's so much money. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can have a conversation with my friend again. Okay, I guess I don't have rice for her, but there's a hole somewhere over there that I can probably just have her engage with. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, got it. Fuck you. uh, oh, hey. Bye. Ah, okay. I think this works. I'm just not sure where I'm going. I'm just moving forward. Huckleberry Finn versus Tom Sawyer. Huh. I'm not sure actually. I'm not sure if I remember Huckleberry Finn like well enough to compare it to Tom Sawyer. Ah, lucky for me, I was way too focused to be distracted by that. Oof. Oh. Okay, well, guess I'm all the way up here. These are the red and white flowers, and the guy down there wants a white one. So, maybe they'll be ahead. He trusts me. I don't want to betray that person. I think with that, whatever we could get is not going to be worth like the moral, the moral problem of doing that. I'm not a horror game kind of person. Oh, you can't play Roblox because it's horror. Oh, a Western Knight. Oh my god, he's so tall. I guess this is how this kind of knight would look to like a Japanese person. Ooh, what are you doing? No, leave me. Um, Strike me all you like, I am unbreakable. My son will receive the waters. Oh god. What is this guy doing? I think he's a knight. Like a western knight. How much damage did that do? Quite a bit. Okay, I'm gonna fight him again. I'm a bit like off my rhythm, I guess. Mm, I'm just seeing if I have like an item I can use to annoy this person. The Fistful of Ash, okay. I mean, I don't think that's gonna be like. Oh, it works! Oh shit! He's so strong! I kind of respect the fact they added like a. Wake me up! Wake me up inside! Okay, um. Ooh. Oh shit! Is this like a boss that was added like to say like there's a bunch of people who are like oh, who would win between like a Western knight and a samurai? Is this like a guy that's there to say the knight would win unless the samurai was good? A lot of people in like the well, not in the history community, but in some history communities are like weapons nerds, like very big weapons nerds, and they like to have this debate about who would win in terms of like a Western knight and like ninjas, for example. Oh, Very focused. Okay. He missed. Oh no. Uh okay, maybe if he misses that's like it doesn't mean much for him, but to me, getting one hit by this like incredibly tall guy kind of messes me up. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, die! No! Robert! No! I feel like I just did something terrible. Prayer bead. Um, a latent skill that recovers posture upon performing a successful death blow. Oh, okay. That's a very, very useful thing. I think this fight is too much for you. You're not even doing any damage. Yeah, but I broke his poise. Like that's the thing, right? One way that you can win against an enemy that's way stronger than you is by damaging him to the point where you can knock him over. Yeah, yeah. So you just beat him via the use of poise, not necessarily via the use of. Eh, what's up? Whoa, that dog resisted one hit of a sword with no armor. That's like quite concerning. That's a beefy dog. Wait, let's see if I can like um oh, they can be killed that way relatively easily. That's fine. I caught you. I caught you. And I got a pellet. I'm fighting animals now. Oh my goodness. They were created to defeat the Amishi people of northern Japan that defeated Chinese style peasant army. What are you talking about? Ooh, it follows you. They have bombs that follow you. Huh. That's so interesting. They have bombs that follow you. Uh, okay. Um, I'm not sure I can fight them right now. Well, maybe I can, but um, I need to think a bit about what I want to do here. It's not going to be trivial. Uh, wait, don't let Peter know. What's funny about Peter? I am pro vegan, by the way. I'm not vegan myself, but I think the vegans are right. And if I knew more about veganism to the point where I could make it practical in my life, I would probably be a vegan. I I've tried and struggled to be vegan quite a few times in my life. This is a pro vegan stream. Yeah. I'm not sure if I like pita though. I have friends who are both vegan and ex-vegan, and none of them seem to like pita very much. I think that the thing with pita though is that they do this thing where if they personally consider that an animal is suffering, they will like no remorse kill the animal. And a lot of people who are into veganism because maybe they have a pet or because they really love animals, um, they can struggle with that because then it's not only PETA kind of saying, "All right, we're like pro animal, right?" No, we are pro animal, but only the animal that we like. So yeah, something like that. Wait a second, I need to. Okay, back. Medieval Japanese that have guided missiles. I don't think they're guided missiles. I think they're bombs, but the bombs have feathers attached to their tails so that they kind of, flow with the wind, if that makes sense. I love meat too much. Also, I find it slightly hypocritical. I can't give up eating meat. Plant life are still living organisms, but they aren't considered. No, the thing with plants is that plants are not sentient, right? Uh, Plants do not have the kind of neural capacity to feel pain. Though they are living creatures, you don't injure them the moment that you eat them. We know, for example, that a tree knows when it's being consumed, but they don't react to it because they're kind of incapable of feeling pain. So yeah, also you have to consider that fruit, for example, or a lot of seeds are not necessarily the plant itself, but more like the outgrowth of a plant, in the same way your nails or your hair are like an outgrowth of yourself. You wouldn't feel pain, for example, if someone bit your nail, uh, because human beings don't they actually bite their nails like IRL. Or you wouldn't feel bad if like somebody bit your hair, because that's kind of an outgrowth of you and not necessarily you yourself. So yeah, plants are not considered, or not considered in the same way, but that's for a good reason. It's not just that um, people are making some arbitrary judgment. Mm, Animals, humans included, gain nutrients and such other organisms. It's natural. Maybe they feel pain in a different way. I mean, we don't really know. I think the way we kind of understand it so far is more similar to what I'm describing right now, which is that, they're like hair. When you eat like a plant, it's kind of like if you were biting its hair, unless you're like actually eating the plant itself, which I doubt most vegans do. They're like, what's food and what isn't in a vegan context. That's, oh shit, yeah. Animals. Okay, humans eat animals. That's natural. It is natural, but there are a lot of things that are natural that we don't consider good, right? Um, for instance, murder is natural. Like in nature, murder happens, but we still go out of our way to prevent murder, for example. Just because something is natural, it doesn't mean that it's good, or that humans should just accept it. Death by cancer, for example, is natural. Death by, well, by a bunch of features really, is something that is natural. So we don't accept when people say, death is natural from like this uh, kind of, you know, Burkean kind of descriptor, right? Death is something that human beings, since, a very long time ago, have been in an active struggle to defeat. People don't want to die, or if they know they're going to die, they don't want to die in an uncomfortable way. So the argument that just because something is natural, it's going to continue to happen, that's not as strong as you may think, right? Mm, yeah, I don't really say I hate veganism. I just personally don't get it. I could explain to you like the vegan argument. Um, it's basically animals are capable of pain. If you're a liberal, for example, you think that pain is kind of like the universal experience. Um, Most cultures, a vegan would say, have an understanding of the animals that are friends, the animals that we don't eat because they're like important to us. In Indian culture, for example, the cow is not eaten. The cow is very respected, and yeah, like people do not eat cows, even though you could say that eating the cow is something that is natural in other places. In China, people eat animals like dogs and cats, right? But to the West, that's kind of insensitive because we consider those animals to be special, to be like pets. So the argument a vegan would make to you is that what animals each culture considers like edible or not are it's like a completely culturally relative prescription. But most cultures will agree on some level that animals can feel pain, and that the pain of a certain animal is so like jarring, or relatable, or whatever you would have it be, that it's worthwhile to prevent it. So that's what the vegans would say. Since we all agree that animals can feel pain, then wouldn't we want to, you know, protect them? Wouldn't we want to say, okay, so um, let's deal away with the cultural relativism? As long as something can feel pain, it's kind of bad that we treat it like food. And yeah, the true vegan option is to eat a vegan. Actually, yeah. There's like a really degenerate argument I could make to you, Kian, but I don't think I want. Some people say that um, can meat be eaten consensually? For example, that's one of the philosophy questions that vegans have sometimes. And there's this like open question about whether if a human being consents to be eaten, then is that like bad? But I mean, I guess it's kind of offensive to the senses, right? To ask if we can eat or should eat people, because that's kind of messed up. But in like vegan thinking, it's like an open question, right? Like, are humans vegan? To that extent, are things like, yeah, that, yeah, basically that. Oh god, no! I'm being surrounded by monsters. Okay, lump of fat fucks, thank you. Ah! I don't know what I'm doing. I am surrounded by enemies, but I don't know what I'm doing. Ah! Leave me. I'm not trying to bother any of you. I just want to go. Please. Oh, okay, 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 okay. Let me read chat for a second. um, what? How did that thing get all the way up here? Then you wouldn't like the Ents from Lord of the Ents of Lord of the Rings eat each other? Like, what's their deal? I haven't read Lord of the Rings, by the way. I know that's kind of a strange thing for a person as nerdy as me to say, but the truth is that Lord of the Rings, I was given the book by a friend back when I was in high school, I said I would read it. I will read it. It sounds like interesting. I know it's like a very important like cultural work piece, and I was very excited to read it. But then I started college, and then I just never got around to it. I'm really interested in learning about Lord of the Rings. Do the ants eat people? Do they eat like other plants? Like, what's their philosophy towards eating? That sounds. If they eat other ants, like that would be kind of messed up. I think. But I'm not sure. Mm. I mean, they absolutely trashed Isengard. You're lucky I was at a peaceful moment. That would have scared me a lot when I was up there. I mean, they absolutely trashed Isengard, and there's a whole kind of forms of Tolkien's semi-anti-industrial, pre-environmental. You know, that's very common for some writers of like the 20th century. Like even Hayao Miyazaki, the like Ghibli guy, he's very anti-industrial. Like pretty much all, or well, not all, but a lot of his work is centered around this idea that um, industrial society and just the city life and that kind of thing has separated humans from like some important like idea. And the the thing is like yeah, a lot of his movies, the societies that are good or the things that are kind of represented in a positive way are connected to this like slow life, kind of relaxed community small space thing. One thing that you can think of, for example, is that in movies like Kiki, the Kiki movie, the one about the little witch that goes off to a big city. A lot of that movie is like the little witch just kind of learning to deal with city life after having been, after coming from a very idyllic, kind of relaxed community of yeah, community of uh, rural people. And I think that's fun. I mean, I'm not sure what the response to that kind of thing would be. It's like, yeah, when you live in a village, for example, you're closer to your community. It's very likely that you will know your neighbors and just kind of talk to them and things like that. Rab, have you ever read Dune? No, I haven't, because that's a book that's very similar to that. Yeah, I mean, the argument is like in Miyazaki's movies, for example, that, you know, in the way to industrial life, something just kind of went wrong along the way. People are very sad about some things. And, like, what's the response that society should have to that, right? Because, like, have we lost something important along the way in the creation of modernity that maybe we should like move back to the farm or something like that to recover our lost knowledge of some things. I don't know. I don't really like the message. I think that the way that a lot of Japanese authors in particular describe this kind of thing is very post-nuclear in a way, because the nuclear question, the nuclear bomb, the this like fear of the powers of humanity when technology goes unrestricted, right? That's very that's a very post-war Japanese idea about what are we going to do in a world where we have to have a moral philosophical response to the power we have now that we have nuclear energy, right? That's like the big concern of a lot of this kind of Japanese thinker. And I guess the question is, I mean, yeah, I would certainly be among the first people to say that we haven't really come to grips with the full implications of the nuclear age. But I mean, should we live like in fear of our creations, right? Like that guy from that movie of Spy Kids, that he's very scared of the monsters he's created. So like, yeah. It has a humongous theme of anti-industrialism and like the antagonism, their capital planet, uh-huh, industrial hellscape with slaves. I mean, I think that's, I don't know. I don't like that message. I think that a lot of these books are very interesting, not because of like the reality of the worlds that they portray, but because the most interesting function of dystopia in literature is to say like what's something that let's explore the idea of like something going wrong, right? Like what happens if this goes wrong? But I don't think they necessarily get to anything like accurate. Um, I consider, for example, that if we didn't have the industrial age as we have it right now, a lot of people with disabilities, for example, would have very difficult lives. A lot of people, there would be a lot of our time alive would still be spent gathering food, for example, or like procuring very basic forms of survival that um, we don't really think about right now because we have so much time to spend on like entertainment or um, you know very technical and possibly more fulfilling forms of life. And so I guess that's kind of the thing for me. um yeah, like video games in a world where Miyazaki gets his way. There are no video games. There's no like these post-industrial forms of entertainment. uh Imagine if we went back to the caves or to like the villages of the medieval age, right? We will have maybe we will recover community, we will recover certain forms of community, but we will also lose a lot of things that make modern life comfortable, right? That's my main criticism of like Miyazaki's films. I think he's like this guy who is very enamored with a certain stage of human industrial development that wasn't like super big. It wasn't like us at our most developed, and that's fine. I think there's certainly some truth in the idea that along the way maybe we've missed out on a couple of things, but I wouldn't take that to mean that yeah, we need to like live in fear of technology and our ability to create things. I think it's kind of like the internet, right? The internet can be very good and very bad. It can be used for like absolutely terrible, horrible stuff, and it doesn't take you long to find like examples of people going online to create very messed up things. Um, but what should be the message? I guess should the message of that be like, oh, we need to be like responsible, or like we need to be like Miyazaki and be so jaded about like humans and humanity that we just kind of reject the possibility of ever creating anything that resembles, great power, great human power. In that sense, I think Miyazaki's even like anti-left. There's there's kind of a conservative bent to Miyazaki films in that sense. It's like, oh, the past. I'm very afraid of what humanity can create. This is why I like liberalism, leaving the power man has as much as possible. I don't know. I don't know if I agree to that. Okay, children of rejuvenating waters. That child, she's the only one left. Oh, for an age, I have been blessed by the worm. To be undying is to walk the eternal path to enlightenment. Thus, I must become enlightened to understand why I cannot die. It is said the holy dragon's origins were in the West, so I wonder how did the worm come to be bestowed upon me? Hmm. Look at all these beautiful statues of the Buddha. I'm just kind of here desecrating them so I can get a trinket. All this desacralization for the sake of a MacGuffin. I am the worst kind of Philistine. Oh no. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like jump on your temple. Oh no. I am kicking your statues. This is so sad. I don't want to be doing this. I am disrespecting them. Bye. Okay. Okay, Dragon's Blood Droplet. These are good. I think they let me I forget. I'm just gonna steal from them. It's not. Ah! Why are you doing that? With great power comes great responsibility. Yes. Like I don't think no anyone wants to like suffer. Nobody wants to have a hard time. So why are we kind of yeah, no. That's an interesting question though. Like in I don't know what their name is even. There's like an entire I forget. I think it's called philosophy of right. It's like a bunch of people who are very interested in asking and answering the question of, are human beings good? Like naturally good or naturally bad? And depending on how, different people answer that question, there's like arguments that are made about how governments should be structured, for example. Like people who think that human beings are, just kind of evil and dangerous, right? That it's kind of in our nature to be this sort of like cruel, destructive creature that, cannot control its worst impulses. People who believe that really like the idea of the state. They really like the idea and the argument for the necessity of the state. Because if you think that human beings are just kind of like naturally, um, cruel and that sort of stuff, what the state does is that it creates the means through which we can kind of repress ourselves into not being awful, basically. And the idea is that yeah, by repressing ourselves into not being like awful, we can create society. Mm. And the people who argue that are typically like British political philosophers. They're also conservatives. They're normally monarchists, that kind of thing. But there's also another tradition which argues that human beings are naturally good. And for that tradition, there are, the argumentation goes the other way. They're typically like the anarchist types. A lot of liberals, for example, like Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and they say like, oh, okay, so the human being is a good creature, and the state and these kinds of things are the result of like the worst of us realizing that they could use force to kind of impose their will on the compliant nature of the good natured people that would otherwise be, right? So the state is kind of a corruption of the natural, way in which people would just kind of be and behave in the absence of this stuff. So yeah, that's kind of like the argument, right? It's do you believe that human beings are good or do you believe that human beings are bad? And depending on what you believe in, like either direction, uh, what is the best way to like make it so society is better than it is worse? A lot of the people who are like, on the team of human beings are naturally bad, they're very anti-democracy. They don't like democracy because uh, democracy is kind of allowing bad people in this case being like all of us, to just kind of be awful to each other and be awful all the time. It's like, why are you letting the kind of ignorant, petulant persons to rule society, right? Like to have a say in things, because um, the way a Christian, some Christians have argued this thing, for example, is that human beings just naturally have this tendency to sin and to live in this kind of like degenerate state. And um, what you have to do in that situation is to make peace with the fact that that's just the way people are, and you have to structure society around the fact that people are going to be awful a lot more often than they're like nice, right? So simple. Ah, okay. So this is the martial arts. Now we can learn martial arts, guys. This is so cool. Um, yeah. So people who in this tradition of human nature, it's called philosophy of the state of nature, I think. Yeah, they are very much of the idea that human beings, are kind of evil, that we're naturally just kind of mean, and that we need the more like social and moral and class conscious, let's say, or the more godly, or the more moral, or the more any of these things among us, to act as a sort of controller, uh, so that we don't like release ourselves to the worst of our passions. I don't really like the Hobbesian guys. I think they're kind of, you know, hateful. But you can disagree about this politely. I don't think I don't think we can know what human nature actually is, right? Because human nature is very complicated. Like I think that if there is such a thing as human nature, it's probably not something we can ever know or describe. So if anyone ever makes an argument saying something like, "Oh, that's like against human nature," for example, unless they're talking about something that's like super basic that most people would agree on, like it's against human nature to just kind of be exploded spontaneously and kill each other like snakes kill each other sometimes, or practice, what's the name of this thing, I forget the name. Oh, auto. I forgot the name. But there's like this process where some snakes, for example, mate with themselves. Where a snake reproduces itself basically by cloning. It the snake fertilizes itself and um, creates a human. Well, not creates a human, creates a small snake. That that's not human nature, because that's not the way we typically like replicate ourselves. Unless you're making like an argument that's that basic, right? I don't think you can really make arguments about human nature, because human nature is unknowable. I don't think we know 100% if it exists, or if
it's something that we really know like deeply. So yeah, in that sense, I'm very skeptical of people who make theories of like, are humans naturally good, are humans naturally evil, because I think that's just kind of unknowable. Um, and yeah, I mean, I don't think I think that's kind of a pointless question to ask. It's like asking how many angels can dance on top of the head of a needle, right? Even if that's something, that we could like reasonably discuss, um, it's very material. It's kind of beyond humanity's current, or even its eternal information landscape to ever know if like such a thing is for us to characterize effectively. Okay. Ah, how do I deal with you? He's so annoying. Well, sadly, he's not immune to fire, so I guess that's how I take him down. Woo! Okay. Well, thanks for that. There is no basic nature of humanity. There is only nature of the individual. Are you sure about that? Like, what is the nature of the individual? Because that's another interesting argument. Stop doing that, please. But yeah, no, that's like a debate in political science, right? Like, is human nature real? Is it something we can know? Is it something we can like think about or plan about or be smart about? Something that we can consider and be responsible with, or is it just like something we should like never worry about because it's not knowable? I am not sure what I believe because I'm not that's not like my area of specialty. Um, Someone who's probably more educated could give you a better answer than mine, but my answer is that I think, the way I personally approach this topic is that I think it's unknowable. So, I treat it as something that's unknowable. I don't really pay it much mind. There are more practical questions, I guess. Most of my nature comes from experiences or concerns. No, no, no. I think that the problem that you're doing there is that you're confusing nature with character or temperament, right? In this context, nature means it means like uh, like actual kind of instinct, for example. Nature in the context of this conversation, it's not something that you can learn. It's something that's just always with you and that's kind of universal to everyone, right? Like one thing. Okay, to make an argument that a lot of you won't like, I think. uh there's this thing that a lot of people in the liberal kind of tradition like to say, that communism and socialism are against human nature. And because they're against human nature, they can never work. That, it makes sense in theory, but it will never make sense in practice. But when you are kind of arguing from that point of view, you are doing so within the constraints that the conservatives also have, right? Like the fact that human nature is probably unknowable, and that you can't make arguments from a standpoint of knowledge about what human nature is or isn't. Like as well as we know, it could be any other person who's right about human nature. So you can't really say, oh, this is for or kind of against human nature, because that's just not something that we know. Um, what liberals typically think they know that they know is that by making the claim that they have access to human nature in reality, they're basically saying, oh, well, liberalism is human nature, right? Liberalism is the thing that's just kind of natural to human beings, and any system that is illiberal is just kind of unnatural. But you have to understand, like, liberalism is an invention of the 17th century, right? Like, we liberalism, in a sense, is like deeply unnatural. For most of human history, people lived in these like patrilineal tribal structures and things like that. So you have to keep that in mind whenever you're arguing, whenever you're making these kind of arguments, right? Like, no system, no political system that is in the scale that most people in like the political sciences aspire to, right? None of that is natural. They're all human constructions. So yeah, I have an interesting answer, but it is too long for me to type. And even then, there's a very fine line between good and evil. Yay. Yeah, it's more that we may or may not know what like human nature is or isn't. That's like a very complicated topic. Mm, I don't think we'll ever reach a solution, or well, maybe we will, right? I'm just kind of speaking from ignorance here, but I know that the question exists. I know that some people are thinking very hard about how to solve it. That's not me though. I'm not really interested in like the human nature problems in political philosophy, though they're very interesting. And I'm familiar in the same way like people are familiar about, just stuff in general. Mm. Yeah, it's a complicated subject for sure. But yeah, in any case, I think that Miyazaki, for example, he thinks that humans are naturally evil, which is I don't know. In general, people who are kind of like, oh no, I'm very scared of the nuclear weapons, for example, they believe that you know this is a technology humanity shouldn't have, because we're not going to be able to, it's not in our nature to be responsible with this kind of thing. So yeah, I think that's why that conversation came up. I don't think I would just naturally start talking about uh social nature, no, human nature problems in political philosophy just out of the blue. Can anyone ever honestly tell you their nature? I think that is impossible. I think you're talking about character, not about nature. Can anyone ever tell you like their character? I guess you can know yourself well enough, especially as you become an adult, where you kind of know where your boundaries are, you kind of know where your priorities are, and you can live, you can just be comfortable with yourself, right? mm, I guess that's part of growing up and being like having existing with yourself longer. But I would also say that if what you're asking is it possible to know human nature in the sense that what would be the question? like in the sense of like what's the nature of human beings in general, right? What's something that you could say about every human being that is true across all time and across all interpretations? That's what I don't know if you can ever truly know. That if we could ever truly know. Uh, I was reading like an American political theorist called Rawls recently, and he makes like very interesting arguments about it. I don't think he believes in human nature necessarily, but uh, he likes to say, okay, so let's suppose human nature is real, then what would it be like, right? What would a good society, or what would be like some basic ideas that society would like have, supposing that this thing was true? Yeah. Rawls is very interesting because he is a theoretician of the social contract, which is a very complicated subject, but um, he's really interested in how to make like societies that are fair, from a liberal point of view. And I think that's like, he's relative, not relatively, he's very smart, though. I'm not sure if I love him as a writer because he's very esoteric. He calls the dilemma of creating something that could do both incredible things and horrible things. I always find your opinions really interesting to listen to. Oh, thank you. This is a lot like philosophical discussion. Well, I don't know about that, but sure. I'm gonna see if I'm strong enough now to fight. I'm trying to fight. Who am I trying to fight? Oh yeah, there's a boss here. There's a boss here that I was trying to fight a couple of games ago, but didn't. Wow, I am so strong now. Okay, I think that before I continue, since I have 1,000 money now, I'm going to go to one of the stores. Yeah, I'm going out of my way to travel to the stores, and yeah, but buy as many things as I can from a store. I love thinking about the social contract. It's one. Yeah, the social contract is interesting. I will tell you like the roles social contract. It's like an interesting idea. Roles, uh, I guess I was kind of surprised that an American. I mean, this is probably not going to sound super well, but I was very surprised that we had what I would call a great American philosopher, in terms of like political theory, because Americans, at least in the in the modern age, they tend to be like one trick ponies, I guess, when it comes to political theory. Americans become very good at learning about one topic once. They studied it like all their life, and then they just have complete domain over that topic. And Rawls is like that, you know. But he made such an interesting argument from within his area of expertise, uh, that I think we will be hearing about him and hearing about people like him, people like talking about him, for a very long time. Rawls basically makes the argument that, okay, how do you create a society that's fair? How do you create a just society? What he does is that he creates something like a gamble, which is that, take any human being, any possible human being that you might ever think about or find about or meet. They could be like a very empathetic person, a very nice person, a very like good person by all accounts, or they could be a very bad person. They could be someone who's like uh up to no good, as we'd say. And then you tell them this very like simple idea, um, which is, imagine your God, for example. You tell them, I am going to let you create uh, any society that you want. This is something that, you're talking about any possible person, right? You approach any possible person and you say, you're going to be able to create the society of your dreams, right? You're going to be able to basically pursue whatever you want, or develop any kind of idea that you want to develop, or that sort of stuff. You're giving someone uh, a lot of control, basically. And then you're saying, okay, wait, I'm thinking about what to do here. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna get like a normal one. These will allow me. I mean, I'm not sure how many times I'm gonna die because I'm fighting a boss, but it's probably gonna be a lot. So I'd rather just spend those energies in something small, though I will probably regret that. Okay. She's so interesting. This fight is so interesting. Oh god. No! Bruh! Okay. Okay. Yeah. So Rose basically asks, he creates this experiment where he says, okay, so you can build any society that you want. And then you'd imagine that someone who was like, very sus in their political opinions would say, finally, I am going to create like my dystopia. But then comes like the second part of the experiment, which is that you tell them, okay, but here's the thing though, you are going to be reborn into the society, and you will not control uh, who you are going to be. So you could be any kind of person in the society. You don't know if you're going to be like a man or a woman. You don't know if you're going to be, for example, what would it be? Yeah, we got her. This is a story enemy. Oh, he's back? What? What the fuck? What? No! She's so good. I'm not good enough for that. Son of foul. Wow! What the hell? Okay, okay. Yeah, So that's the thing. You can be reborn into pretty much any person in this random society, and that's what's interesting about Rawls' experiment, right? Because you put this kind of person, whether they're like very good or very bad, in a position where they have to decide, they're going to be maybe a bad person or a good person. But now you've kind of compelled this like person into creating a good social contract, because maybe they could be born into like a very bad situation, right? Like they don't know if they're going to be, let's say, a man or a woman, or if they're going to be gay or straight, or if they're going to be whatever. So uh, you create, through a system of self-interest, a kind of problem where you force people who would otherwise be very selfish into thinking in something that would be maximally efficient for them, no matter who they would be in this like thought experiment, right? So here's like what Rawls uh, does very well, in my opinion. He creates a social contract that's purely based on self-interest, making the argument, the very like elegant argument, that the only way you can tell if a society is just is if it's just from the perspective of like the most disadvantaged person. So in this case, um, you're trying to, but okay. Okay, so what Rawls is saying is like, yeah, take this person who is very disadvantaged, let's say. Take any person in any society, and if you tell them, if you put this problem on them, out of self-interest, they're going to make sure society is fair, because they're not going to be able to know, who they're going to be born as, right? And that's what Rawls does like very well. And I was very surprised that a liberal theoretician, especially one that's like so modern in a sense, came up with such a good idea. Because what Rawls basically argues for, right, is that you know what what a fair society would be, like ideally, is a society where, from the perspective of the most disadvantaged person, right, there's justice. Ah, yeah. So, from the perspective of the most disadvantaged person, society is fair, to the point that if you could be born at random in this society, you could know with a lot of certainty that things are going to be okay for you. Like maybe they're not going to be great, because Rawls doesn't is not close to the idea that maybe it's okay for a society to be disadvantaged in some ways. But the argument he makes is not really an argument about advantages or disadvantages, whether there should be advantages or disadvantages. It's more an argument of, if you are going to be disadvantaged, would you rather be disadvantaged in a society with like a nice social contract, or would you rather be, you know, in any other kind of society? That's where I think he, Rawls is really interesting, because Rawls makes this construction where, you know, out of pure self-interest, you can create very like very sensitive institutions of care, because people know that society will be fair to them if they ever have a problem, only if at some point they know that if they were in a worse situation, then um, they could rely on things working to anyone's advantage, realistically. So I think he's really smart. And I was very surprised when I read about him. I have never read his books, though, I should say. He's written like a very important book on the theory of the social contract, but I have not read it. I have heard he's like a terrible writer because the way he wrote that book is kind of like some people write tweets where they, they don't write uh, being like smart. I guess that's kind of a mean thing to say. They write like firecracker. I should have like a snap seed, right? Oh, she's way over there. Ooh. Ah! Yeah. Okay, so what Rawls would invite you to think is like, yeah, social contract. Interesting. Wait. I probably need to. Okay, give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. My press is being requested elsewhere, so be right back. Okay, I have returned. Yeah. Basically, someone had like a visitor, and it was asked of me if I was going to be like around or something. But yeah, let me just have a bit of water because this fight is very intense. But yeah, I think that's a very interesting thought experiment because typically the idea that society being fair and egalitarian and that kind of thing um, is not the liberal tradition. It's not typically argued from a perspective of individual rights, but Rawls makes an argument for institutions of care and welfare states and that kind of thing from the perspective of someone who is purely self-interested, right? And he does that with the social contract. And the thing is that theoreticians of the social contract are really, really old, like very old. Uh, Social contract theory had been for a long time something that people just kind of didn't care to look at because it was thought of as old and just this thing that yeah, people don't like to think about it because there are more sophisticated tools. But Rawls brought the social contract back, and he did so in this very interesting way where through a lens of like individual rights he created an argument for collective institutions of care, and he did that from a liberal perspective, not like a left-wing perspective, which I found really interesting. Okay, I'm ready to continue. He did create like a proposal. It's not just the experiment. Um, but I think the proposal. Oh shit! But I think the proposal is really good. Well, I mean, his proposals are like a different thing, another thing entirely. But Yeah, he made like a proposal of his own, but I'm not. I don't really know the proposals that he made. Yeah, I don't really know his proposals as well as I know his experiment, and I think that his experiment is really good without necessarily knowing his proposals, like how he creates his fair society, right? Because he has a way that he solves his own experiment. Um, it's just not a way that I know about. Uh, yeah, he creates his own solution to his experiment, where he basically proposes a series of principles, and he says, "Okay, so no matter how what kind of background you come from, I will convince you." This is like his promise, right? I will convince you that the I got cornered. No, no. Yeah, Roll says no matter what your kind of ideas are, I will convince you that my proposals, they're the good ones. That they're the ones you should follow regardless of what political interests you may individually have. Okay, good, 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 good. Come on. Oh no, I was so close. You were still just a puppy. What are you talking about? You almost died, you dump. No. Somewhere a paint. This sucks. This fucking sucks. And I don't have as many snap seats now, do I? Huh. That's so bad. That's too bad. Please give me more. So yeah, that's what why this guy is so interesting to me. He's probably the smartest liberal. I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I did that. Yeah, he's probably one of the smartest liberals I've read in some time. Well, I didn't read him again. I read like his ideas, but even then, right? Wow. I will always recommend to you guys that whether you agree with people or not, you should always kind of if you're interested in like political science, for example, you should always be a little open-minded to read things like these. You might be surprised in like a positive way. Oh god, like this lady surprising me. I somehow went through like the first round beating her, and now she's beating me. Okay, but I think I can do it. I think it's doable. It's probably just hard. Well. Yeah, I am doing the. without the snap seed. I have some snap seeds, but not a lot of them. I think I'm gonna go in just with yeah. You'll be defeated. Ah. Okay, okay, lady, okay. Okay. Bruh. Okay. She's so strong though. Ah! Okay, I think this is the time when she goes down, at least for like round one. Ah! Okay, I see you. I see you. I see you. What? Where did that come from? uh, what? No! Leave! Okay, I'm fighting you now. I wonder why they call her Lady Butterfly. Is it because she attacks with butterflies? Ah, no! Magic. I hate magic. Well, I hate it, but because I don't have it. No! Oh! I just waited it out, I guess. What? Ah, oh, she cornered me. Huh. But I really wanted to read Republic. I mean, do you mean Plato's Republic? You can read it if you want, but I mean, I guess my one question is like, why? Uh, yeah, I don't know. I worry perhaps I'm being a little bit too judgmental with some of you. Like, if you naturally have fun reading like political science, uh, like that's something you can do, I guess. But it's just something I wouldn't recommend. Life is too short for for being like for me it's kind of my job, right? Because I'm a YouTuber and I make videos with this kind of stuff. But I wouldn't expect someone who wasn't in, the business of political education, for example, to know the things that I know. Nor would I think that they're worse off for it. I don't know. I guess it's just kind of weird because Americans have created this culture of debate, right? Where debate is like fun, and I don't know how I feel about that. But a lot of people feel like, the trans people that I've met online, for example, they feel like they can argue against transphobes. Like that they can convince the transphobe not to be a transphobe. And I don't think that's possible. I think that that's the kind of thing that's like anemic. You're arguing against things that are irrational. So, uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't love it, but I guess it's just kind of where we are right now. Also, you did say to start with something, sorry, with the classics. I'm just a person trying to learn, and I also try to read sources that are said videos. Okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah, reading the sources of like any of the videos that we make in this little YouTube circle, that's like really smart. I commend you for that. But no, that was so stupid. No, that was even stupider. What are you trying to teach me, battle? Dun, dun, dun. Du-du-du-du-du. Yeah, no, I don't know. One thing that I kind of agree with Joe Biden is that he said that trans rights are kind of the civil rights issue of the decade, right? Um, and I think he's right about that. And the contentions that trans civil rights are having kind of on everyone, and how we accept it and how conversations change according to their politics, that's going to become really important going forward. And I think that one of the things that's very important for trans people is that they're seen as kind of like how they feel, right? It's like nice if you are how would I see it, if you're trans and you know that people are, maybe they don't understand, but they can be nice to you. That's like okay, that's acceptable. But the ideal thing for trans people would be that they're just kind of accepted for who they are and understood, right? And a lot of the people who are just like, oh, okay, maybe I don't understand, but I can be nice to you, they're not doing for like what for trans people what they would consider ideal, I guess. And yeah. Oh, hello, Havana. By the way, I don't have my phone. uh it's in repair, no WhatsApp. Oh, okay, thank you. I will try to contact you in Discord from this point onward. uh you saw me die. But yeah, I mean, that's like an interesting thing that I think trans people's politics just kind of put in all of us now, which is that now there's like a new wave of people who are very interested in convincing, in convincing maybe their relatives who are more conservative, or uh, different kinds of people in their communities, that their politics or maybe their values or things that they want to care about are valid. And I don't know how I feel about that, because um, I come from like an older generation, I want to say, of LGBT activism, of LGBT people as well. And we were used, back in the 2000s, for example, that there were always going to be people who never accepted you and never liked you for who you were. And politics for us kind of became this thing about, okay, there's people we're never going to be able to move. Um, so we need to succeed, not with the support of the converted possible homophobe, but we need to have a society in spite of them, right? So we need to be able to live our best lives with or without the approval of society at large. So that's the thing, right? That's the thing of like kind of what made us different, or what I think makes us different, because this current generation of like LGBT you know activism and human rights struggles, they're very interested in being understood. They're kind of saying like, yeah, okay, civil rights are important, but it's also important that people understand us, and that they validate our identities, and that they know who we are, not only from a position of like, oh, they are being empathetic. Maybe they don't understand, but they're trying their best to be empathetic. No, this time the problem is like, uh, empathy is good, but empathy is not ideal. What's ideal is that people have like actual comprehension. And I think that streamers like Vouch, for example, one of the things that they've kind of created is this expectation that you can debate and defeat the conservative, which uh, both as like a political theorist and as a person from this older LGBT struggle generation, I don't think that's possible. um, not that you can't intellectually defeat the conservatives. I think that doing that is not really complicated. Uh, the thing you need to understand is that the conservatives are part from a movement. Modern conservatism, Burke conservatism, comes from a movement called the anti-enlightenment. And the thing with the anti-enlightenment is that they inherently reject the rational method, right? They are like of the idea that yeah, what's their idea? Yeah. They're of the idea that tradition comes first. Tradition is kind of this organic machine, and that tradition should be the end all be all through which we create social development. Social development should be done inside the tradition, or not done at all. So, when you find someone who comes from this methodology, they're not interested in reason, right? They're not interested in being convinced. They're not interested in being proven wrong. Maybe liberals are like personally interested in being like rational with their politics, but not everyone is like reason first, right? There are a lot of people who instead, right, are kind of the idea that reason is a sort of corrupter, that reason can be a type of like arrogance, and that we shouldn't, we should be maybe not irrational but anti-rational, that we should not let reason like poison or better nature and or better instincts, and a lot of conservative political theories like that. So you know, I don't think that your average conservative is like like a political theorist, right? But they are very likely to think in these terms of like, I have my private space. In my private space, I don't want, for example, to be exposed to these things, and it's my right uh, for my ideas of what I value to not be exposed to this sort of thing, and I am going to like go out of my way to avoid it because it's just that important to me, right? So that's the thing. A lot of people, a lot of liberals, I think, have this idea that you can debate the conservative, but oftentimes you can't. You can defeat the conservative, but um, at its core, right? They value an entirely different set of ideas, an entirely different set of hierarchies of value, where this thing about you know your your reason and that kind of thing is not as important as the traditions, because there are values in the traditions that a rational process could deconstruct without necessarily appreciating. And they're not wrong about that, but yeah, that's a different subject. I think what I'm trying to say is that i I don't really think um on this thing of like convincing conservatives that a lot of young liberals are trying to do is like really possible. But it's very important for trans people, for example, to do this thing. Maybe what do you do if you're trans and, for example, you have relatives who are transphobic? Like, they're going to invalidate your identity and be very mean to you in a way that perhaps uh, like gay people or bisexual people didn't really experience, right? Because your sexual identity is very close to what we'd call an experience, but your identity in the sense of the way you present in society is something that's negotiated. um you can't like um yeah, in a way, I guess what I'm trying to say in like less complicated words is that if you're gay and you're attracted to like men or women, uh you know people being mean to you about that is probably going to be annoying, but it's not going to like ruin your life, because deep inside that your attraction is your attraction, and no matter what people tell you, that's always going to be there. But I feel that maybe with trans civil rights, it's a bit more complicated than that, right? Because in the conversation about transgender identity, um, the way that other people see you and the way where they may or may not like be receptive to who you are and how you perceive yourself, that can actually like ruin your day, right? If someone is kind of mean to you. And the very interesting thing that you know that the kind of American progressives are focusing on right now, by being so by identifying their cause so much with the trans civil rights struggle, is that we are in a kind of age where I feel people are trying to convince conservatives again. We're back at this thing of let's try to reason with the conservative, because it's part of what the trans experience in a way kind of tries to relay. you know I'm going to try to convince my transphobic dad, for example, that this is something that I experience, that this is part of like a human a human thing that I'm going through. And yeah, that's very. It's kind of like the cultural moment that we are in, I guess, where this minority and it's, you know, the questions it has brought forward upon society is kind of um, creating a new era of political conversation that for someone like me it looks yeah, I guess very different. You know, in the 2000s, if you didn't care about what people said about you, you were like the cool kid. Now, in the 2010s and 2020s, what has become like cool is to care. You know, to not be apathetic to social struggles and social causes. To you know, to be vegan, to be interested in recycling, or to not be a climate change denier, or in individually reducing your own carbon footprint because of the morality of it, not because, you know, not because you don't do that. In my time, well, at least when I the media that I like to consume was like a thing, it was cool not to care. If you were like the kid saying like, huh, like I don't care what you say, I don't care what you know, what issues you're bringing me about, you can't force me to care about like your religion or your things. You were cool. You were cool if you had it in you not to care about society, because society was kind of everywhere in a way that I guess it isn't right now. A rebellion in the past was about asserting yourself, and rebellion in the present is about not being apathetic. And I guess I like the present rebellion a bit more, um, because people are a lot more, uh, you know, they're a lot more politically effective when they care about, yeah, when they care about things instead of just being like uh jumping at the edges and being like, oh yeah, no, like I'm too cool to care. So in a way I think I like the Steven Universe kids because they're all about caring, right? They're all about oh yeah, you know, like I care. You know, the fact that the world is kind of bad is not going to ruin my life and my day, and it's not going to make me care any less about issues that are dear to me. Whereas in the older generation, um, it was more like, you can't force me to care about um, you know, these things that you want me to care about, like your religion or your society or your conservative values. Rebellion was about irreverence, whereas rebellion right now is about subversion. It's like a very different philosophy, I guess, because now people are actually interested in creating proposals for like new societies and new ways of understanding the world, instead of just being like, you know, um, just kind of frothing at the edges, saying like, "Oh yeah, no, I don't care. I don't care. I you can't force me to care." Like, I think some comedians, you know, some like older comedians called it like the "fuck you, mom" generation, because it was like kind of shocking that people would be like, "Yeah, fuck you, mom," like, that sort of thing. Um, yeah, whereas, you know, right now, I guess it's more like, what would be like a good analogy? I don't know actually. I don't know if it can be described in like the same terms. But I guess you guys get what I'm talking about. Yeah, I guess your generation is cooler than my generation in retrospect. In some important ways, you guys are the cool guys. We didn't care about stuff. We were kind of, little shits. And I don't know if we could, but I guess we were trying. We lived in a very different world. Um, for us, rebellion in the 2000s was about just kind of being able to be yourself in a society that was very, just kind of overwhelming and controlling, right? Because society was everywhere. Um, Society was everywhere, and it controlled so much. And it was just kind of assumed that if you were like, a kid, uh, in like this very small kind of space, uh, you were going to grow up, you were going to get a job, you were going to like maybe give up on your dreams and be like uh, a boring person, I guess. And what the fuck you mom generation was about was about not, rejecting that like that like guarantee of giving up on your dreams to become a moneymaker for someone else. Um, but right now, I guess the thing is that the jobs are gone. Um, Society's a lot more unsafe. So, being rebellious the way we were rebellious is kind of pathetic, right? Because um, you're not rebelling against anything like substantial when you're being like irreverent. You're actually being like maybe a little privileged by saying that, because you're taking the position of, oh, things are so good for me that I can afford not to care about stuff. And then like yeah, like what does that mean? It means, you're not going to care about climate change because you don't recycle plastics and that's a waste of time. It means you're not going to be like responsible and separate your trash because you're a cool kid, right? And you don't care about that separating trash stuff. Nobody can force you to do anything. That was our philosophy. But right now the cool kids are like the kids who care, and I guess that's really cool. I would have liked to have like uh, to have grown up among people who cared about stuff, because my friends were very much the fuck you mom types when I was growing up. It was like, yeah, you can't force me to not watch anime. I'm weird, I'm unique, I'm special, and yeah, like you can't force that out of myself. In the modern day, apathy would essentially be like suicide of the soul. Yeah, 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 yeah. Because by being apathetic, you guys have like a lot more to lose. We had it good, but we didn't like it. So I guess we didn't have it that good. But still, probably being like so self-absorbed with our not wanting to have a life that went in a certain direction is kind of what Doom does, because we became obsessed with ourselves. We became obsessed with yeah, just like not caring. We became obsessed with yeah, what we wanted to do all the time. Like it's me, me, me. I guess it's me, me, me today as well, but in a different way. For us, it's like it's such a different era. The 2000s are such a different era. I kind of miss them because I think the music was great, the fashion was great, um, but um, there are a lot of things about that era that were like completely unsustainable. We were never gonna have the ability to keep like the some of the some of the prettier parts of it forever. But I guess I like, you know, I appreciate where we are right now as a society, as like a world, because right now, the new Barbie movie is great. That would have never happened when I was younger. I really like the new Barbie, uh, and things like the new Barbie. You know, as much as you can possibly criticize it for what it is, that would have never happened in a society as apathetic as the one that existed in the 2000s. Yeah, like I like that children are woke. It gives me hope for the future that kids are woke. No. Okay. The 2000s were still cute though. Like, uh, I wasn't emo because my parents did not allow me to be emo, but I thought emo was like the coolest thing ever. you know, uh, later on, as I grew up, I really like girls who dress emo. I guess it's kind of cringe to be emo right now because being emo is a lot about like, oh yeah, I'm depressed, the world sucks, and we all know that we all know about that, I guess. So it's nothing new. Uh, but I guess that the difference between the 2000s and today is that emo, for example, was an act of personal rebellion. It wasn't like rebellion against society. It was rebellion against. Oh shit! No, no, no. I mean, I guess it wasn't like a revolution against society. It was rebellion. No! Would I be considered emo? No. No, of course not. I used to be really dark, but that time in my life would take way too long to explain. Yeah, I mean, I think it's not necessarily dark, right? Because dark is something that I think will always be with society. Emo was not dark. It was also about, you're rich and there's a lot you can do with who you are and what you have, but you're also just kind of depressed and hateful because, you're being forced to live this life of, suburban conformity. And emo was a way to rebel against the suburban conformity. It was like, no, I'm not going to be an accountant, mom. Fuck you. I want to be a rock star. Yeah, I want to be like a creative. And that's one of the things I dislike about the 2000s because I guess our rebellion was not really revolutionary. It was like deeply personal. It was like, yeah, I care about myself. I care about being kind of like the one that breaks the mold. And if you watch movies about, how kids of the 2000s understood their bullying, for example, their bullying experiences, it's like you're not bullied because, there's a problem with bullying. Bullying is always going to be like a thing. But the kids that are bullied are the kids that are special, right? It was like, yeah, if you're bullied, that's because you are like going to be special in some way, and school is like a great equalizer. And right now that you're in school, all the kids that are going to be doomed to have like the trash jobs It sounds so arrogant, but that's how it was presented. All the kids that are going to be doomed to have like the trash jobs are jealous of you because of how special you are, and they're taking the opportunity to just kind of let their lack of specialness out on yourself. Yeah, whereas right now, yeah, thinking that you're like special in this way would be kind of cringe. Right now, the idea is like, oh yeah, no, we're all, we're all we all have like a common humanity, and we need to use the common humanity to push oneself forward and the world forward. Lost child. Ah, okay. The model went silly for a second, but it was because of an alarm. I used. I guess I have a really long way to go. What do you mean? I mean, of course you do. I mean, you're 14 hanging out around people who are like way older than you. From the get go, you are already being exposed to problems that maybe you shouldn't be exposed at right now. I mean, I think it's commendable to some extent that you care about this stuff, but I would also say there's probably other uses of your time. And that's what worries me so much about you, Skywalker. I feel like there are certain skills that might be more important to you right now than like liberal political theory. And you're learning about liberal political theory. Whereas you could be learning about, how to be a good friend, or how to, just kind of take advantage of this moment in your life to get through some. I don't have like the me telling people to touch grass problem with everyone. That's something I only have with you too, the beneficiaries in the Discord. Because you two don't touch enough grass. At least the way I see it. And you worry me. Ah, okay. I really never got to be a kid. That's sad. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, sometimes life is like that for some people. Oh, I understand now. So what happens is that if you don't kill all the ghosts become like illusions. And then you have to, do something about the illusions.
No. No. I tried to be social and all, and attempted to be interested in things they were interested in. I just hated it. I felt like a phony. I understand that. I understand how that feels. You know, it's kind of like I guess women experience some version of this thing as well. It's like this idea that if you're not perfect, then people don't want you. So there's like a sort of rebellion you can take in saying, like, if you're not going to love me for me, then I'm going to be a version of myself that I'm happy with, and fuck whatever you want, because I know I'm not going to be making you happy anyway, so why should I even try, right? Yeah, I understand that feeling. But I guess that, you know, you kind of need to understand these things for what they are. A lot of people don't really like parties. They like the fact that parties and that kind of thing allows them to have contact to each other. And once you understand that about others, you can kind of see that, you know, everyone wants connection, but connection is hard to find. And people are just trying their best to, like, you know, from the kind of people that they are, to encounter something that works, you know, a language that allows them to get together with others. And that's what parties are. You know, a lot of people who don't like parties learn to enjoy them, not because they genuinely like them, but because it's a way that society has deemed acceptable to seek connection and, you know, intimacy with others. And that's something that everyone wants, you know, like, no matter how kind of. I've got to go. Okay, have a nice stream. I really, in the back of my mind, don't like being around. It's a burden to hang out. No, don't be such a downer, guys. Like, I'm pretty. You guys are pretty cool. I guess all you really need to do is to, you know, find a way to translate, like, the good things about um yourselves in a way that you can share with others. Because sometimes that's the difficult part, right? The sharing part. Okay, I'm gonna go behind this pillar, see if anyone can reach me here. No, they can't. Oh, they can. They kind of can. Huh. Yeah, just find a way to connect with others that works for you. Um, you know, I'm pretty sure that if you try to talk to other people the way you sometimes talk to me, you would have a lot of, like, nice opportunities to, you know, meet people on their terms. The thing is that sometimes, you know, a quality of human relationships is that you won't always get uh, what you want from interactions. Um, Human relations is a lot about, you know, I'm there for you and you're there for me. And that means that you won't get to have conversations on your terms all the time. Maybe you can have conversations on your terms with certain people, and that may be easier than, you know, others. But even in that situation, you have to concede that that's not always possible.
Oh god. I got very aggressive there. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it. Oh, right. I like when she makes that attack because she's really easy to hit. Ah! No, that was dumb. Okay, but I'm grinding her down. I'm very successfully grinding her down. What? No! Why are you attacking with like no aim? Aimless. Aimless. Okay. I have no way to heal right now. Ah! My only option is to like fight her conventionally and win. Ah! Ah! This is probably a very boring way to fight her, but it's effective. Okay, last chance I got. Oh, I hate this attack. Okay, can I survive it? Where is she? All right, she's landed. What if I go to the other side of the map? Okay, now she will do her little conversion thing. I will wait for the butterflies to start going towards me, and now I can outtangle them. How? I'm a master. Oh, I'm not as good as I thought I am. No! No! Ah, I got way too greedy there. I am someone who is quick to accept failure. I think that's something will end in failure. Uh huh. I never went to a friend's house to play or had people come over. Oh. You know, if that's something you feel would make you happier, you can always pursue it. I didn't like having friends over because I thought they wouldn't like the environment I had at home. And, you know, regardless of whether I was right or wrong about that kind of stuff, I have to be like certain about the fact that oh, okay, I remember that loaded attacks are a thing now. I can't believe I've been doing this without loaded attacks. Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that, you know, if you have that kind of, you know, need, if it's something that you feel like you missed out on and would like to have, you can always procure it at any moment of your life. Whenever it's been difficult with COVID, but if I get the opportunity to move out again, I will move out and have friends over because that's something I always wanted to do. You know, to have the opportunity to have guests on my terms, to have like friends that I didn't have to worry about, making connections with the type of family that I had, because I also have a conservative family, right? It's like, if that's something that worries you, that people will judge you, maybe, that, maybe someone in your family will say something inappropriate to someone you care about, then it's probably for the better if later in your life you can procure relationships that, feel safe. So yeah, that's the kind of thing. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, I think this is going to be like my last fight. Because I probably have to go meet these people I told you about at the beginning of the stream. I'm gonna try to defeat her. If I can't, then I couldn't. Ooh, no. Yeah, like by day's end, that's why we should care about politics, right? Like politics are there to allow us to be happy. Um, we're supposed to be servants of ourselves, not servants of like concepts. If you're doing a lot of politics and you're not being happy, you're probably doing it wrong. Because the whole purpose of the thing is that we should live better lives, right? And you should not abandon the things that allow you to pursue a better life, um, for the sake of these like grand ideas. That's like opening the door for someone to manipulate you into doing things you might not want to do. Oof, I'm feeling the heat. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, back on my bullshit. go to the other side of the map and just kind of drift from. Okay. Ooh. Okay, that was very, very smart of you. Ooh. I'm being outplayed again. Nice. I interrupted her sequence. Ooh, she jumped back. Okay. Okay. She's the one feeling the heat right now. I guess that's good. At least compared to like last time, I was the one being like really, really cooked by the fact that she's so skilled. And I'm not as skilled. Okay, yeah. So I'm on the other side of the map, and now I run because her attacks can't reach me that way. Ooh. Okay, I got one heal and one attack. This is going to be it. I'm feeling it. No. Okay. She's feeling the heat. She's feeling the heat. Okay. Ah, this shit again. Okay. Where is she? Where is she? Oh, she's up there on the ceilings. No! No! Okay. Ooh. We're both feeling the heat right now. Oh. Okay, that was very good on my end. Ooh. That was not good on my end. Ah, you're doing that shit again. At this critical, critical time. Where you shouldn't be doing that. No! Okay. One last chance. Where are you? Okay.
Ah! Die! Ah! Ah! You've gotten. Ah! Fuck! Who are you meeting? Keep talking. Damn, that 7-6 kung fu. Ah! Oh god, I can't believe I won that. Oh god. Who am I meeting? I am meeting the people I am going to be collabing with next week. I mean, not next week, tomorrow. And yeah, we need to plan a couple of things. Mostly, yeah. What? No! I fought so hard and now you're killing me. What the hell? I don't deserve that. Why are you doing this to me? What have I done to deserve that? Okay, I'm going to take the cutscene to drink water. I'm still here, guys. We're just like kind of chilling. The stream is going to end. Oh sole, oh sole mio. Yay! Okay, I know that kid. That kid is a kid we're supposed to be protecting. You fought bravely on my behalf. I did! I cannot throw away such loyalty. You know, you'd be very stupid too. I spent like 3 hours here that I could have spent on anything else being loyal to you, you fucking ungrateful kid. Oh, that's where I got the power to revive. What do you have to say for yourself? Well, okay. What about you? Oh, that's so cool though. I can make people come back to life. Let me just see if I can do that. Yay! We cured the dragon rot. That means I can stop feeling like garbage about all the people I've been making sick. Okay. Well, that was it for this stream. I had a lot of fun. We did a lot of. We didn't do like a bunch of progress with the story, but we did a bunch of progress with the fighting. So that's been nice. Um, I'm gonna rest, and we'll come back next week. Probably once I have a bit of a better grasp of my progress with the Quebec series. Okay. Mm. Oh, let's go back to OBS. Mm. Uh, okay, sorry. I had to make the switch. I'm not going to take too long with my goodbyes right now. I have to go to a meeting. It's probably very important that it happens sooner rather than later. So, thank you everyone for coming. Thank you everyone for attending. I really appreciate your presence. My model's not here. What? Oh, no, it is here. But it's just that I'm in the corner. Okay, so thank you all for coming. It's been incredibly fun. I haven't. I really missed this game, and I'll be happy to talk to you guys later at a later time. So yay, thank you. We'll see each other tomorrow for Elden Ring, maybe. Bye.